All right, welcome back to Lunch at the Market. Today we're looking at eBay after their acquisition of MOF favorite GSI Commerce. If you've ever seen or read Lunch at the Market, then you already know that we are all about the numbers. In fact, numbers don't lie and stocks don't lie, but people sure as heck do. Now, the numbers in eBay are absolutely terrific. The forward PE on the stock is about 14.22 with a peg of less than 2, 1.75 to be exact. Once you get up to around that 2 level, we start to feel like we're paying too much for growth. The margins on eBay are also fantastic, with profit margins coming in at 19.6% and operating margins coming in at 22.6%. The company has $6.6 billion in cash and only $1.79 billion in debt. That's quite a lot of cash on the balance sheet, which means that the acquisition of GSI Commerce is really not a huge deal in terms of the balance sheet for eBay because they have the balance sheet to do it. Now, the company has, let's see, about $5.09 per share in cash on the balance sheet. That is huge. And they generate about $992 million in free cash flow each year. So almost $1 billion in free cash flow is coming in for eBay every year, which is fantastic. Now, the above case, well, I guess that's when you're reading it on stockpicker.com. But the case I just laid out in terms of the fundamental story for eBay is a reason why to own eBay. Now, we haven't even talked about the acquisition of GSI Commerce, ticker symbol GSIC. In case you missed Lunch of the Market from either March 22nd of last year or again on April the 5th of last year when we first identified GSI Commerce as a stock that we liked after they appeared on Undercover Boss, they themselves have $3.61 a share in cash with $242 million and only one of cash and only $166 million of debt on their balance sheet with about $50 million in free cash flow. So with that $50 million in free cash flow from GSI Commerce, if you put that on top of eBay's free cash flow of close to $1 billion, you have over $1 billion in free cash flow for the combined entity and about $8.70 a share in cash, which is a ridiculous amount of cash considering that eBay trades around $30 a share. The combined entity has around, right, what is that, 25% of cash sitting on the balance sheet. Okay, eBay has been far more about making transactions take place between buyers and sellers than it has about the online auction store for years now. We love eBay. And you can check out the December 17th, 2010 edition of Lunch at the Market for more of what we said on eBay in the past. But PayPal by itself is enough of a reason for us to get excited about eBay. There are all kinds of cross-border transactions that are taking place solely thanks to PayPal. Okay, there's commerce that gets conducted in Asia and emerging Europe that literally takes place exclusively via PayPal, right? That's how they do payments across borders. You'll want to go back and check out the last couple of earnings calls from eBay. They are a thing of beauty. This acquisition of GSI Commerce puts eBay on a level where they can compete openly with the likes of Walmart and Amazon.com in the same online community. When asked about the strategy of their online payment processing coming offline to brick and mortar stores, the CEO told a fantastic story yesterday as they talked with CNBC after they announced the acquisition. Basically what you have is, let's take a small bricks and mortar store that really wants to expand globally. Well, they can actually do that because with GSI Commerce's fulfillment centers and logistics, that gives eBay the backbone to come into a bricks and mortar store and say, look, we've got a way for you to process transactions all around the world through the PayPal wallet. Now we're going to give you our logistics and our fulfillment centers in order to ship your goods around the globe. And we're going to give you an online presence because, well, that's what we do. We're eBay. So really, they've got a one-stop, one size, can really be scaled to fit any type of business that I think is a game changer. I think this eBay acquisition of GSI Commerce makes eBay that much more appealing. In fact, it reminds us of the Bucyrus Caterpillar merger in which Caterpillar went out and bought Bucyrus for around $90, $91 a share. We liked Bucyrus as a standalone company. We like Caterpillar as a standalone company. But when you combine the two entities, you take out the cost savings, you put in the revenue synergies, and then you expand the market share footprint of the combined entity. What's not to like about Caterpillar more after the combined entity than Caterpillar and Bucyrus by themselves? I mean, they were great by themselves the same way that eBay and GSI Commerce were great by themselves. Again, I think the combined entity is a must-win. It doesn't hurt to have smart people like Patty Edwards and Brian Kelly from Conundrum Capital jumping on board today on Fast Money Halftime Report, putting their thumb seal of approval on the trade. We are long. We're long January 2013, 20 strike calls. We paid around $13.10 for those calls. Obviously, we have all the time in the world to let this story play out. And we also have some in the money January of 2012 calls in eBay. I think they're the 25, 30 strike calls that are completely in the money. Either way to play, I think that eBay is going to be a big winner over the long term. And I think that, there was some talk yesterday by Senator Durbin on CNBC, which was terrible. He was trying to defend the Durbin Amendment, and instead of letting the market forces decide what interchange fees should be, they want to basically price fix. They want the government to price fix, or at least Senator Durbin wants the government to price fix, even though he refused to acknowledge that that's exactly what they were doing by having the government set those prices for interchange fees. But with an entity like eBay out there, and especially with this acquisition of GSI Commerce, you can see that really there are some market forces that are going to compete in terms of where your dollars are routed in terms of payment processing as we go into, as the e-commerce story gets bigger and bigger, and as bricks and mortar stores become more integrated with e-commerce, and your store has an identity in both places, you're going to see entities like PayPal become a really big deal going forward in terms of moving money around the globe. All right, so check out those past editions of Lunch in the Market for more details on both GSI Commerce and eBay. And if you were caught us yesterday, we did our piece on F5. We sold those 90-85 put spreads that expire in about 13 trading days in April. If you're quick, if you're fast, if you're just trading these suckers, you can take them off today for a 25% gain. You're welcome. That was a great trade for us. We're going to try to hold those into options expiration, as we now only have 13 trading days left. We have about a $7 cushion before it gets down to that 90 strike where we're short. Thanks for tuning in again today. Have a great day. Remember that options expiration is April the 15th. Have a great afternoon, and we will see you tomorrow.